This is Majin. As you can see, I have many comics to review, but before I get into these reviews, some of them I'm going to go really quick on. I had to show you this action figure that I bought from Japan. It's from this series called Hunter x Hunter. Basically what happens is this kid named Gon, he is going through a really hard time. He's fighting a boss. He powers up, okay, to epic proportions. You know, keep in mind this is a kid. So he powers up to an adult. And this is the action figure. That is his hair. His hair becomes super long. It's like Goku on steroids. But anyways, that is some pretty strong conditioner. Alright, let's get on to some comic reviews. Witches first. I'm really enjoying Witches. Snyder's really doing a good job at building up an atmosphere. If you remember the girl, she got into some trouble. She was gonna get basically raped by somebody she knew in the woods, and she made this wish type thing, and the witches creature things from the forest basically ate her, the girl in the forest, and she's now stalked by the creatures. And this is basically just the aftermath of that. And she gets a wound at the beginning of this issue, and that thing is basically that. And that thing is just nasty looking. Also, like I said, I think with the art style, and Snyder's really doing a great job building this type of world, and I guess you can say it's refreshing in that a lot of times, we just see it's your typical monsters, zombies, vampires, werewolves, that kind of stuff. And while I each one of those holds its own place near and dear to my heart, I like the concept for witches. They're just nasty looking. They're not even what you expect, and now other people are getting dragged into this mess that of what's going on in this small town. I really look forward to seeing how this thing is going to play out. I think, though, the one thing for me, though, is part of me thinks that this would be a great book for a trade. It's basically by that I mean, if you can imagine, if you're watching Walking Dead, it's kind of like how if you watch it like week after week, if it always ends on these cliffhangers. But if you wait till the season's over, you can watch it boom, 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 one after the other, and you can get this great overall story. And The Witches is the same thing. It's starting to become this, it's like, oh my god, I gotta see what's going to happen next, and it's like you have to wait a month. And that's why I think that a trade would be, I'm definitely buying the trade for this, but I'm still going to end up supporting the single issues, because this is just really, it's just like a nice refreshing horror change. Alright, Batman Eternal. Alright, I have to admit, Hush's plan, very dastardly. I was really wondering how Hush was going to lay forth his plans to conquer, and he really jacked up Bruce badly. Spoiler part at the very beginning was alright, but I have to admit, hats off to Hush. He really jacked Bruce. There's going to be some serious fallout to what's going on with this storyline. Okay, Batman 36 Endgame Part 2. This would have been my good book of the week, but like I mentioned in the good, bad, and disappointing, part of me just was kind of like forgetting about, like, hey, what happened again? Okay. So I had to go through the book again. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, there's that and that. Here's the deal. The Batman-Superman fight was fantastic. This really pushed me right to, like, this was great. I loved the look of that Superman was giving, the blood, the way he was talking to Bruce, all of that was great. But it's over. I'm like, yeah, done. And then you can argue, but, Marginoni, the Joker's coming. And I'm like, fuck the Joker. Sorry for the language, but fuck the Joker. This was very cool. And if this had more of the battle, I would have been like, hands down, boom, here's my money, take it please. But with the Joker at the end, it's just kind of like, alright, we've seen the Joker without his face, or I should say with his face as a mask. Now Joker's back to normal again. It's not this, it doesn't have that same demented, twisted look any longer. And I don't know, to me, he didn't look as menacing. And granted it ends at this cliffhanger, but like if I were to compare, let's put it this way, Witches or Batman next month, I'm reading this one first, okay? Because I know that the ending to this, how that's going to play out. Without a doubt, I know how it's going to play out. And it's a good read, though, don't get me wrong. It's a very good read. It's just I wish there was more fighting. Then he takes on the Justice League, and you don't even get to see how that really plays out well enough. And it's just like I wanted more fight. Okay, Captain America, all new. This is all new, guys. Rick Remender's version. Very controversial. Emmerman artist, fantastic art. Now this, I guess you can say this is kind of smart, but at the same time, there's probably going to cause some problems. This Falcon is acting normal versus Captain America and the Mighty Avengers type thing. Basically, Captain Falcon. He's basically flying into a Hydra base, your typical storyline, and it's just preparing you. Here he is. He can fight. He hooks up with Cap's son along the way. So just imagine Captain America, Bucky, and the ending was actually really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. I'll be honest. Originally, this book was off my radar. I just didn't give two flaps, to what's going on here. And then at the last minute, because of what was going on with Axis, I thought, I'll give it a try. I'm really happy I did. I'll be honest with you. Give me Captain America versus Falcon or Captain Falcon. It just, while you can argue this was an interesting twist of the character, it's just not the same. And it's one of those things that you just have to go through the process. Hopefully they can make something really good from it, and Remender will give us a good storyline, and then Cap will eventually get his youth back, and everything will be back to normal again. But in the meantime, like I said, I really enjoyed it. And I also have to admit, Emmerman's art really sold me too. If it wasn't for Emmerman, I don't know if how much more I would have been wanting to get this issue. Okay, Thor, number 2. This was kind of weird because basically what you have is the new female Thor, and there's two chat bubbles here. One is Thor speak, and the other is like, "What the heck am I doing? I can't believe this is I'm on the moon." Blah blah blah. So this is really weird because it's basically it kind of makes you wonder now what's going on with Thor's head? Is Thor like doing the same thing too? And if he is, I need to know what Thor's thinking. The hammer basically is guiding her. She has no clue what's going on. She's over her head, which pretty much makes me believe she's not an Asgardian or anything like that. But she is somebody that is connected with the story. She knows that these people are Asgardians. She knows that superheroes, these are the Avengers. She knows Roxanne, the CEO. So she knows certain things. And overall, I'm really, really liking it. The art is solid. The story basically just, continues from where Thor left off. And I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. Everything's just a little bit different, which is kind of refreshing on one hand. But, at the other hand, give me old Thor. I love the old Thor. So, but I'm for right now, I'm on board. And as long as Aaron's at the helm, I'm fairly confident this should still play out pretty well. Alright, I'm going to be really quick with the Ultimate Spider-Man. This is pretty much a fight issue. This was great. Miles is like leaps and bounds better than Peter was in handling Green Goblin. and granted, it's because he's got his venom or spider bite. But regardless, this fight was fantastic. They both of them, watching them fight together was good. The way the ultimate fate of Norman was kind of surprising. Kind of makes me wonder if that really is gonna follow. They're gonna follow through with that. But my guess is it's not gonna happen the way they're leaving it. But regardless, I really enjoyed this book. I just wish that all of the other Ultimate books were on this level of quality, because this would be a strong line. But as it is now, this is like the only book that's good. Okay, Captain America and the Mighty Avengers. This one was like... Let me make sure... Yeah, that's the right one. This book was freaking... At first, weird, because, you know, like, you see Captain Falcon throw his shield at somebody, hitting him right in the face, and, you know, technically that's going to kill the guy right there, you know. But that's besides the point. You have Spider-Man going to the headquarters of the Mighty Avengers. You have Luke Cage getting on his case. And basically these people are still under the influence of the Axis, the spell. And it's like, eventually what happens is you see this meeting in the office and the Plunderer comes in. And this part was just funny and tragically sad at the same time. Because these three guys, the goons in the background, they're in way over their head. You know, and Captain Falcon shows up, and it ends tragically. And this really gave me some mixed feelings and emotions here, because there's something that's really going in the background that's incredibly wrong, and at the same time, it's just like this refreshing change that, you know, it's just like a side story that's, you know, you get to explore heroes being bad. You know, just imagine, like, you have that girl next door, and she becomes bad, and you just have to watch this train wreck happen, and then you eventually hope she goes back to normal again, and things go, you know, she sets herself straight, and that's the same thing what's going on with me with this Axis stuff. You know, I'm like watching this, reading this, and I'm like, this is a major train wreck with these characters. You know, they're not anything close to what they're supposed to be like. They're doing bad things, and you just want to see the fallout and then everything go back to normal again. The art was okay, but overall, I mean, I was actually pleasantly surprised with this one. Maybe that's what I should do. I should do another video for the pleasantly surprising comic of the week. Alright, Nova number 23. This is probably one of my most favorite crossover books ever. Nova fights the Hulk turning into the Hulk type thing. And this was actually, like, it tied in pretty well at the beginning. It pretty much said this is what happened, and you can read about that part here in Axis. And then you see Kid Nova fight the Hulk. And that was actually a really good fight. And I was really pleased with it. I was impressed by actually how he's just being, like, super heroic at his age. Because the thing that I thought was good was not only did you see the two sides, you saw him being heroic, and then you saw utter fear and terror. And, you know, I just liked this whole thing. I really enjoyed it. And overall, you know, this to me could have been another contender as the good book of the week, but it just didn't have enough story. It was just that one little fight. But I enjoyed it. Alright, Axis. Spider-Man figures out that there's something wrong that's going on between the Avengers, because it's like, basically, if you remember in this last issue, Falcon makes the emergency meeting, everybody shows up, and what was weird is you have the Illuminati people here. You know, you have Mr. Fantastic, there's Black Panther, there's Beast in here. Nobody seems to care. And basically what happens is you can tell who's under the spell of this, not, you know, the Order Chaos spell between Doom and Scarlet Witch, And Falcon's just like, you guys are all a liability, and I'm getting rid of you. He basically uses the PIM gas and shrinks them and puts them in an ant farm. Spider-Man and Nova escape. There's a few other people who know what's going on, so now you have a small enough heroic army to try to combat the evil of the Avengers now. So that part is what's really going on here. The ending part was great because you had the Avengers getting attacked by the Apocalypse and the X-Men. But my only gripe with this is when the X-Men show up, you get the big ship coming down, there's some excitement brewing, and then you get the X-Men just strolling in. And they don't seem to get angry until Havok sees his wife being handled in that manner. And I'm just like, oh, really? Shouldn't you have just... I guess you can say on one hand it's pure arrogance that you're just waltzing into Avenger Tower, and on the other hand it's like, it's really stupid. But... so this was like a mixed feeling for me. I did enjoy it though. I don't know how much longer I'm going to enjoy this. I can also say this, even though I enjoy it, this is by no means a 10... Alright, let's back this up. This is in no way, shape, or form a 7 out of 10 book. It's just strictly average. Alright, Spider-Verse, number 1. Basically what we get is we get short stories of 6 different Spider-Man. The art style varies with each person. In some cases, looks like they tied it into the Spider-Verse, because here's one Spider-Man that's getting recruited, and then there's other times like you have the steampunkish Spider-Man that it doesn't seem to be connected into the storyline. But I have to admit, I really like the character designs of the Sinister Six. That was really interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing a mini-series of this, but I don't want to see anything more than 4 or 5 issues. Then you get these kiddie versions. Then you get the Hostess Twinkie, or the Hostess ad version of that Spider-Man getting killed. And they also had the newspaper strip version of Spider-Man getting attacked. And it was just this part was actually really entertaining. Okay, there's the Hostess one and this one were really entertaining because, if you remember, with the newspaper, if you ever read the Spider-Man the newspaper, it was basically, you didn't get this one long continual story because, people might have missed the day before. So they always had to kind of give you a little piece about what happened the last strip. So that's what's going on, and he's the guy's like, what the hell is going on? You just said that, and he's realizing that there's this problem that's going on. And that part I really enjoyed. For me, to me, this isn't what I would consider a fantastic read, but there's really some nice little gems in here. But I don't know if I'd continue reading this, because it looks like they just blew their load and got it all done in this one issue, because those 2 parts, I don't know how they're going to top that. And there's the other ones, there's a couple other ones that are just too similar in style. So, but anyways, 50-50 enjoyment out of me for this one. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Like, share. Make sure you comb your hair. And we'll have some more reviews later. Until next time.